Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Luke from Powtribe Yoga. Welcome to this asana tutorial on Chaturanga dandasana, or four-limbed staff pose. This is one of my favorite poses in my yoga practice. Extremely helpful for building strength and stability in the whole body. I think this is really a whole body exercise that once you get right will make a world of difference to your practice. But especially if you're a beginner, this can be quite a dangerous pose. Alignment is very important, and if we move out of that alignment, we risk injuring ourselves. Often students find pain in the shoulders, and that's the last place we want to injure. So this asana tutorial is going to hopefully help you with some tricks and tips on how to execute this. You're going to need 2 blocks. If you don't have 2 yoga blocks, that's fine. They're just here to serve as guides. So let's start off together in a tabletop position. You can untuck your toes, flatten them on your mat. Now, first off, we do not want to hang into our shoulders. We want to move our bodies out of our shoulders, and the way we do that is squeeze the mat with your fingertips, press into your hands, slightly round your upper back. This action where you bring your shoulder blades together is called retraction. We want exactly the opposite of that, protraction, where you press into your hands and you work your shoulder blades away from each other. So let's get into that tabletop position. We're going to take the first block and place it just along our fingertips on the left hand. We'll take the second block, place it about 5 centimeters behind the heel of this left hand. Now, when we move into Chaturanga, we want to make sure that we have bone-on-bone alignment. So what I mean by that is, even now, this is a stable position because my elbows are above my wrists, my shoulders are above my elbows. So my arm is straight, I have bone-to-bone alignment, and therefore I have strength and I have stability. Once we move out of this configuration, we open ourselves up to potential injuries. So, for example, if we were to just lower straight down here, the block collapses, and you can see this is a very compromised position. This is nothing. We don't want this at all. So we're going to leave this block here just as a kind of guide, as a test. Instead, what I want you to do, press into your hands, round your upper back, shift your body slightly forward so that it almost feels like your shoulder blades are coming about in line with your fingertips, even a little bit over your fingertips. Just play, see what feels good to you. Shift our body slightly forward, and from that position, we lower down. Now, you'll see we maintain alignment of the elbow over the wrist, and so we keep stability in the lower part of the arm. So I want you to leave the block here just as a test, that when you lower down, you make sure that you're not knocking it over. If you are knocking it over, you're not coming far forward enough. Now, the next aspect of alignment has to do with the shoulders. It's never healthy, especially in this position, to lower the shoulder lower than the elbow. So what we kind of want is a 90-degree angle now. The shoulder above the wrist, the elbow above the wrist, the shoulder in line with the elbow. So that's what the front block is for. Press into your hands, round your upper back, shift your body weight slightly forward, and then begin to lower until your shoulder makes contact with that block. This is about the position that you want to be in Chaturanga. You don't want to lower your shoulder much lower than that. The final tip that I have for you, which was honestly a revelation for me and something I only really learned how to do or discovered in the last year or so after many years of practicing yoga, is how to correctly rotate my shoulder outwards, to externally rotate it. As soon as we start internally rotating our shoulders, when we flare our elbows out like this, we put our shoulder in a very compromised position. We close off this joint and open ourselves up to injury. And so in a press up like this, in a Chaturanga, we want to make sure that our shoulder is rotating back and down. This is called external rotation. And the easiest way to do this, at least as far as I've learned, is by pulling your elbows as close toward your rib cage, toward your body as possible. Just by turning your elbows in like this, your shoulder blades naturally begin to externally rotate. So I'm going to move the blocks out of the way. You're more than welcome to keep them there. Let's try this together one more time on our knees before coming into a plank pose and moving from there. Press into your hands around your upper back, shift your body weight forward, and then as you lower, make sure to draw or tuck your elbows in towards your rib cage. This is the position you want to be in. And you can even use this as a strength building exercise on its own if you're not ready to go to full Chaturanga. And I seriously encourage you, if you're not ready to go to full Chaturanga, always to come to your knees, whether it's now in this tutorial or in an actual yoga class. Primarily, I think in yoga, we need to be gentle, we need to be kind to our bodies, we need to prevent injury. So never feel afraid of just staying on your knees. For those of you who are ready to come into a full Chaturanga, step your feet back into a plank pose. Now, one of the ways to maintain strength in a plank pose is we drive energy into the balls of our feet, kind of the ball of the big toe. So we're not driving our heels flat to the ground like in downward dog, but we're not on our toes either. We're on the balls of those feet. But now, if we were to lower from here, once again, we'd be out of alignment. So we need to shift our weight forward. And the way to do that, very simply, is to roll up onto your toes. So if you're coming with me from this plank position, roll onto your toes, shift your body weight forward, tuck your elbows as you lower. Don't go too low. From here, open your chest into upward facing dog. Press back, downward facing dog. Let's do that one more time together. Whether you're on your knees or you're in downward dog and you're coming into plank, roll yourself forward into a plank pose. Press into the balls of your feet. Take a breath. Then shift your body weight forward onto your toes. Tuck your elbows in as you rotate your shoulders outward. Lower, lower, lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Great work. As I mentioned at the start of this class, this is an exceptional pose for building strength and stability, but it's not necessarily intuitive. So take your time, play around with it. As always, feel free to modify as necessary. Use blocks, stay on your knees until you're ready to work your way into a full Chaturanga from plank position. It's very challenging. As you can see, I'm already out of breath. Please leave some comments below, any questions you may have about this pose or any other. Like the video, share the video, subscribe on YouTube and follow on Facebook and Instagram.